Hey everyone, welcome back to the railroad, the Union Pacific Railroad Evanston subdivision. Today is Sunday, and Sunday means an update, although today, actually not doing an update, going to do the update tomorrow. Today I just wanted to post this video that I put together on a short review of some detail parts that I received from MacRail. And I have used MacRail detail parts for the PTC antennas on the AC 4400s and also on some EOT devices. Here we have a derail, which we're going to take a look at. And the detail parts that I've used so far from MacRail, as I said, were some end-of-train devices that I really like using. I want to make sure that since there are no cabooses on modern trains, wanted to make sure that I had some EOT devices, and then also the PTC antennas, which I used in all 6 of my AC 4400s that I got from Scale trains. So I got some more detail parts. You saw the derail. This is a gondola cover, which I also wanted to take a look at. It has some detail parts. It's a pretty simple molding with some additional parts. And I also want to take a look at their new EOT 2.0s, the end of train devices 2.0. These are a little bit smaller, in fact quite a bit smaller, and much more to scale than what their originals are. So I had one pack of all yellow, which you saw, and then here's a pack of 4 of the same EOT devices, but in a little different color. Each of the packages comes with just a piece of paper, basically, that's been printed with some information. Most useful is the QR code that contains information and instructions about each of the detail parts. This is the package that I got that was the 4 of different colors, and normally you get only 3. I'm not sure why there's 4 in here. I don't think you get normally 4. But these attach differently than their original EOT devices. As you can see here, that looks definitely a little bit more detailed than the original ones, and the way it attaches is different also. It actually has like a little hook which hooks onto the coupler rather than just kind of sitting in the pocket and hoping that a ridge will actually hold it in place. So these hopefully turn out to be a little bit more reliable as far as staying on the end of the train. So here's what it looks like installed. And I was a little concerned about the hook because it's not prototypical to have that hook on there. But as you can see, when it's on the coupler, the hook is painted black and the coupler here is also black. And so you really can't see the hook or the bracket or whatever you want to call it that hooks onto the coupler. Here you can see looking straight down. So it actually looks really nice. The EOT device 2.0, this is from MacRail. I'll show you a comparison between the two in just a little bit. But I think it's pretty much right on the nose as far as scale goes. And so this is pretty much the color that you have, or excuse me, the size that you would have on the prototype. And as you can see, it definitely, even with some knocking around, it definitely is able to stay in place. So definitely a big improvement over the 1.0 or the original EOT devices. Now here you have it on a brown coupler. This is a Scale Train stock coupler, which is molded in brown color. And now you can definitely see the little bracket that holds the EOT device on the coupler. So it does not look near as nice on a brown coupler like this as it does on a black one. Now I guess you could get some brown paint and paint it if you wanted to. But as I said, it doesn't look as good on the brown as it does on the black. Now here you have the original EOT devices. I have a bunch of these that I've been using pretty successfully. These only work on KD couplers. You had to buy a different kind to work on scale couplers. The 2.0 are supposed to work on any kind of coupler. But these definitely, you see it just simply had a little shape there that fit into the coupler. There's no bracket or anything. So you would just put it in there, and then there's a ridge on the other side that kind of held it in place. But it was not held in place. You can see the little ridge that held it in place. It only worked with KD couplers. But with these, if I would have any kind of a bumping of the end of the train, it definitely would come off. So I had lots of cases where I would find these EOT devices on the track somewhere. Here, this is the 2.0. Looks really nice. Yeah, definitely looks more to scale. This is on a Walthers coupler, so it does work on more than just the KD. It worked on the KD. It worked on the Scale Trains coupler. Now here you can see the two different 1.0 on the left and 2.0 on the right. So they definitely made a big improvement on the size. I think that's pretty much right to scale size. It didn't measure it or anything, but it definitely looks much more prototypical. The original ones were a little bulky. They were better than nothing, so I definitely was happy to use them. But the 2.0 definitely looks more to scale. Now, one thing I should say is that the EOT devices actually do not fit inside the coupler on the prototype. They fit on the outside of the coupler, so they're still not quite prototypical in the fact that they are inside the coupler. The actual prototype EOT devices fit outside the coupler, and I think that's so that they can still couple onto that car if they need to. These are still inside, but you really don't, looking at it, you don't really like, it's not a glaring difference. I don't think people really realize how it is. Now this is the little rack that they have, and the original couplers fit perfectly in there. The kind of, it was designed for them. I'm not sure if MacRail is going to come out with a new rack for the new 2.0. I'm not sure if they're going to come out with a rack 2.0. But anyway, you can still put the 2.0 ones in there, but they're not really designed for it. But it definitely looks okay, I think. And again, they're to scale. So big thumbs up for the 2.0 MacRail EOT devices. I think that you get 3 of them for like $20. And I got them straight from MacRail. Again, here we have a derail. And again, they have a QR code that you can go to the instructions. The website does have some instructions, but they're not real thorough. You have to still kind of figure things out. This is a pretty cool idea. A derail is basically what the prototype uses to stop trains in a siding from accidentally rolling onto the main line. So this is a set of 2 of them, and it's very small. You can see with my big bulky fingers how they operate. It basically folds back and forth. So in one folded down like this, it would derail a car, and then folded the other way, then it would let the car go through without derailing it. Now here it is on the layout, and I just quickly glued it down in the appropriate spot, I think. And you can see it just easily just flipped back and forth. Now there would be and it does derail quite effectively. Now there is a pole that you would attach to this, and then they have the decals for the derail symbol. So you'd have that stuck in one of the holes there so that people would know that the derail is there. So it's open, it goes through without hitting, although it does hit just slightly on one of the coupler pins. There, you can hear it again. Now, it might be the pin is a little bit lower than it should be. But the pin, this particular pin does not hit at all when it goes across turnouts or anything like that. So it's not that low, but it may be lower than it's supposed to be. But it does definitely hit on the derail. Definitely like it when it derails though, that's pretty cool. So anyway, I thought I would try it with some locomotives. Here's a ready-to-run SD40, and it clears the plow and everything, but not sure if you can hear it, but it does, you can tell here just kind of clicking a little bit. It is hitting somewhere on the underside of this SD40N by Athearn. It's ready to run. So there's a little bit of a clearance. Now these are code 70 rail. All my secondary track is code 70. Here is an Athearn Genesis Gevo, and it definitely hits. The plow smashes right into it. So it's definitely a little bit of an issue there. So I thought I would try it on some code 100, and you can see even with code 100, I have just sitting here. I didn't glue it down. But this is the scale trains. So even on the code 100, it hits a little bit. And I think if you installed it properly and maybe filed it down a little bit, it would clear on the code 100. This is a code 83 now, and again it hits. Definitely makes contact. So the derail is a cool idea, and I think it would work for the code 100. But if you're using code 83, and it would be difficult if you use code 70. Definitely not going to work on all locomotives. But still a pretty cool detail. Now here you have the cover, the gondola cover. And this particular kit is made up of a 3D printing of the cover, but it definitely is one of your more high quality printings. It's hard to see the striations at all on the cover. So it is a 3D printed piece, but it's pretty good quality. And then you have some molded details for the latches, and then some looks like brass wire for the some grab irons, and then again a piece of paper to explain where the latches go and so on. I think it also comes with a QR code on another piece of paper that shows where further instructions are. Now this is a pretty nice kit. The latches are glued on there. They just glue on very easily. But it's a quick way, an inexpensive way, to get a gondola looking at as it's in revenue service rather than just being empty. Now I did get some stuff on there. That's not from the kit. But if you look closely here, you can kind of see the striations a little bit, but you have to really look close. That's very well printed. I think they use some high quality print material, and it looks pretty good, especially if you get this weathered and so forth. It's going to look awesome. So a pretty cool kit, quick way to get a gondola from being just empty to having a load on it. I don't have the handrails on there, but here we have the car coming down the Wasatch grade, and we'll get a look at it here in revenue service. Just kind of give you an idea to show how some pretty good detail parts, some great detail parts, can really enhance the look of your railroad. Here's the gondola cover, and I do have the handrails on there, or the grab irons I should say. Hard to see, but then also the EOT 2.0. So some very nice detail parts from MacRail I think I think it's just MacRail.com. You may have to Google it, but just MacRail detail parts. You should be able to find the website and take a look. They have a bunch of different detail parts and pretty good quality. Definitely recommended. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Have a great week. The update will be here tomorrow. Stay tuned for that. Take care.